Well, welcome friends. Join me today as I pack for a 5-day trip using only this backpack as my personal item. We're headed to Chicago for a quick getaway, so rather than pack a carry-on suitcase, I decided to see if I could take my love of packing light to the next level and fit everything I need in a backpack. Traveling with only a personal item means that space truly is at a premium. So I like to begin with packing what's going to take up the most space in my bag, clothing. So I checked the weather to see what it's going to be like while we're in Chicago. It's going to be hot, which honestly is helpful for packing. And then I laid out everything that I wanted to bring. So on this trip, I'm going to be bringing one romper, one long sleeve shirt, one t-shirt, a vest, a tank top, 2 pairs of shorts, one a bit more structured, the other more casual, and a bathing suit. And something that I don't always do for longer trips, but I really like doing for shorter ones, so I laid out and took pictures of all of the outfits that I wanted to wear, what items I was going to combine with what. I find that it really helps me feel confident that I have enough to wear, and that I have enough variety to keep things interesting so it doesn't feel like I'm just wearing the same thing again and again and again. So here you can see some of the outfits that I'll be wearing on the trip. I tried to keep things easy, casual, great for warm weather and exploring a new city. But then once I have all of my clothing picked out, I next like to spend some time folding it. My go-to folding technique is something I like to call the brick method. It's essentially a kind of hybrid between rolling your clothing and the KonMari method of folding. Basically, my goal is just to get every item of clothing I'm bringing into a basic brick shape. So usually that just means folding the sleeves of a shirt in or folding a pair of pants in half and then rolling it a couple of times until it resembles a little rectangle. I love this technique because it saves space in my suitcase. I find that it reduces wrinkles and makes it really easy to just at a glance see everything that you have because it's stored vertically. But then with all of my clothing folded, I'll just pack it. Typically I like to put it near the bottom of my backpack. I'll chat more in a minute about all the reasons why I love this backpack, but one of my favorites is that it opens up like a suitcase. So I'll just put all my clothes in there and then move on to, I packed my undergarments next. For this trip, I just packed 1 pair of underwear for each day, 2 bras, and 3 pairs of socks. I like using soft bags like this just to keep my undergarments contained, but did still have some extra room in it, so I also added my bathing suit and then also a pair of shorts for sleeping in. And that wedged nicely into the top of the backpack. Then let's talk makeup and toiletries. My makeup stays packed at all times in this little bag from Merit, but it is pretty spacious. I definitely don't use the entire thing, and so to my makeup bag, I just added in my deodorant, a reusable makeup removing pad, my travel razor, and a comb. Those all fit in with room to spare, and I love that it makes it so that there aren't just loose items floating around in the backpack. Then for liquids, I like to use this reusable TSA approved bag. It's a bit more sturdy than just using a plastic bag, and I like to keep it packed at all times so that I can just grab it and go whenever. It's just filled with all the essentials: shampoo, conditioner, hair and skincare products, toothpaste. Since it's going to be sunny, I packed sunscreen, all the basics. Oh, and while I was at it, I also packed my toothbrush. Okay, then this is another feature of this backpack that I love. One of the reasons I rave about it to everyone, like literally, I think I can count at least 10 friends who've bought this at my recommendation. Look at this, it has a dedicated liquids compartment. You can use it as a wet bag if you go to the beach, but typically what I like to do is to use it to store my liquids. And that way, if anything leaks or explodes, it's going to stay contained and be easy to clean. For shoes, I wanted to keep things really simple. I'm just going to be bringing 2 pairs of shoes. My leather Birkenstocks I'll be packing in the backpack. Then I'm planning to wear these white sneakers on the plane. To pack the sandals, I just put them in a little cotton bag to protect them, and then slid them into the handy shoe compartment at the bottom of the bag. Then that just left the small stuff. So in this floral bag, I packed my electronics, my phone and computer cords, as well as my AirPods. I have a few little zippered bags like these, and I find them to be such a game changer for keeping things organized when traveling. Actually, this is another example. This one basically contains the contents of my purse. So in it goes my notebook, a pen, my wallet, some hand cream, chapstick, lip gloss, some medicine, a hair clip, and perfume. Oh, and normally hand sanitizer goes in this as well. I'm not sure where that got off to, but I'm going to add that in before I go. Then obviously I'm not going to want to walk around the city all day with a giant backpack. So as my purse on this trip, I'm going to be bringing this gingham tote. I'm also going to be bringing my belt bag because we're going to be going to a Cubs baseball game while we're there, and they don't allow larger bags in the park. Okay, then remember how we put all of our clothing at the bottom? Well, a trick I've discovered is when you do that, it kind of compacts everything, creates a bit of space at the top of your bag. So I just used that space to my benefit and slipped in our 2 floral pouches and my bags. Then I just added in a few final things. My laptop went into the dedicated laptop compartment at the back. I also slipped in the book that I'm reading. It's a pretty spacious section. Then I laid out a couple of accessories that I wanted to slip into the outer pockets of the bag. Couple bandanas, my sunglasses, a scrunchie, and I forgot to film it, but I put my silk eye mask in this pocket as well. And then I just put my sunglasses in this pocket, but I think newer versions of this bag actually have an expandable pocket for water bottles, which sounds so nice. Might need to upgrade at some point. And then the last thing, I just slipped my phone into this little hidden pocket. And obviously I do have my phone out a lot when traveling, but it is nice that I have a safe, secure option for storing it when necessary. When I'm flying internationally, I'll often put my passport in this pocket as well. Then I just snapped everything up. If you need it, you can use these to add a bit of extra compression to your bag, and then laid out my bag alongside my travel day outfit, ready for my flight to Chicago tomorrow. So I hope that you enjoyed this look into how I pack for travel using only a backpack as a carry-on, that it gives you some inspiration and ideas for packing light. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already for more videos like it, and join us for our adventures in Chicago. Until next time, friends, thank you so much for watching, for being here, and happy travels.